Thank you for joining me here on another day. And once again, we're talking about VTuber stuff. It's been almost 2 weeks of a ton of VTuber news, man. Obviously, the Silverveil stuff, the recent Pikamee stuff. And even a week ago, Mori and Gura were getting attacked by Twitter cops because of that whole Dakamakura situation and Mori's comment about it. It's crazy. In this video, I've seen a number of clips on the internet that I think you're going to want to see as well, so I'm going to compile them and show them in this video. We're going to talk about them a little bit. And a real quick channel update before we begin. You may have seen the video I released on Monday talking about concerns I have for the channel regarding this week. And I was very vague about what's going on, and I'm still vague about it, but just know that's been going a lot better than I thought, and that's why I've been able to upload so much this week. So I want to thank you guys for your concern and understanding regarding all that stuff, and I might be able to provide more actual information on what's been going on over the weekend. It's going to depend on how the next 2 days go. On a final note, thank you for the support in general, especially over the last recent weeks. Lots of new subscribers, lots of thumbs up on the videos. I appreciate it greatly. And as I mentioned at the very end of my last segment, I'll mention it at the beginning of this one now. I'll be streaming over on my VTuber account coming up in March. If you're interested in checking that out, link in the description. And now onto the clips.
Pikamee, a VTuber massively harassed for announcing to play Hogwarts Legacy for nostalgia purposes, announced her retirement on March 31st. Again, she didn't even play the game. She just said that she wanted to play the game. Oh, this is it. This is her video.
残り1ヶ月の活動とはなりますが、みんなと楽しい時間を過ごしたいと思いますので、最後まで何卒よろしくお願いいたします。今まで本当にたくさんの応援ありがとうございました。短い時間ではありますが、以上となります。ありがとうございました。
It's sad to see somebody that just leaves the internet and stops making content, especially if it's because of like harassment or something like that. Because the worst thing about it is that every single time that people can get somebody to quit or successfully bully them out of their platform, then it gives them a reward structure around doing it again. And that's what's really harmful about it, is that whenever you put somebody out there and then people are able to like knock them down and like ruin their career or something like that, then all of those people then get positive reinforcement that, wow, this is how I can do it next time too. So that's what happens, man.
So in my opinion, Asmongold is correct about that. And I didn't want to talk about that yesterday in my segment going over the initial news because it didn't seem like the appropriate time and place to talk about such a thing. Although I did very briefly and vaguely address it in the sense where I think I made a comment something along the lines of there's a general consensus of people wishing that she did not quit. Obviously, you know, people don't want to see her stopping. They enjoy her streams and stuff. People saying they, you know, don't want her to give in to the harassment and bullying and all that. But I did mention I'm not going to fault Pikamee for it. And everything I said still does apply. However, now that this is the next day, it's not the initial news coverage and all that. I'm going to address that point a bit further in this video. Also, a disclaimer about Asmongold. I'm not dragging him at all for bringing it up when he did. The fact of the matter is he was just doing a live stream talking about stuff going on. It is completely different from me doing an actual news segment on the topic. So there's no shade to Asmongold, different circumstances. The point is, I do think he's correct. And obviously none of us want to see toxic harassers emboldened, which would then therefore cause them to go after more innocent people. And as someone who has been on the receiving end of massive harassment campaigns time and time again, I definitely know what it's like to deal with that sort of thing. But this is why I'm also defending Pikamee, because people are going to handle this differently for a variety of reasons. I'm just going to give you a couple examples about myself, because obviously I know myself better than I can give examples from someone else. But there was even a dude who has been basically cyber stalking and harassing me for years. I'm not going to go into details about this. It would take like an actual video to talk about this in full. But just one example is he literally made a website dedicated to harassing me and lying about me, trying to make me sound like some freaking evil mastermind, and even trying to advocate people to file false police reports about me. Also makes up lies about my community as well, about you guys. It's just completely absurd. And now regarding bullying, I'm also familiar with that. I was bullied a lot, especially in middle school. Most of the bullying I had was in middle school. There was even a point in time where the bullies forced me into a bathroom, made a half circle around me. The other side was like the sinks and the stalls. But they literally forced me to fight another one of the bullies. And by the way, these were the quote-unquote cool kids. And yes, not to brag, but for those curious, I did win that fight. The other kid did not get a single hit off on me either. One without a scratch. It's not like I was like mad skilled or anything. The other kid just underestimated me because like as soon as the fight started, I just rushed him and threw hooks, left and right hook, just into his body over and over and over again as fast and as hard as I could. and he just got completely overwhelmed, and then he like gave up. Not trying to go into a whole biography here or whatever, but I did want to give you a couple of examples, because ultimately the point I'm making with these examples is this. I've always, throughout my life, pretty much since, I don't know, definitely before 8 years old even, I've always had a passion for martial arts, likely due to my father putting on like old Jet Li movies, you know, being a huge Bruce Lee fan. As far back as I can remember, I knew who Bruce Lee. I don't remember when I actually found out about Bruce Lee. I just know as far back as I can remember, I've always loved Bruce Lee. Big fan of martial arts. Always wanted to train martial arts. Before I had money to actually enroll in martial arts, I would like watch videos, I'd read books, I'd practice by myself and all that. And what this means is at this point in time in my life as well, that passion is still with me. And despite any bad thing that happens to me, whether it's a harassment campaign, whether it's family tragedy, whatever the case may be, I can always train martial arts. I can always go to the gym, the academy. I'm not just talking about lifting weights, I'm talking about the gym with the heavy bags, whatever, other people to train with. Or even just at home, I could get off my computer. I can go lift some kettlebells in my house, shadow box a little bit. It makes me feel completely better. Sometimes if the day is really bad, it might not be completely better, but absolutely it does make me feel better. And the final point about this, you could probably see I'm alluding to, if I didn't have that outlet, I don't know what I would do. Like maybe there's a chance that the harassment campaigns that I've had to deal with, I would have quit this stuff. I don't know. I really don't know. So I don't know what Pikamee's personal life is. I think most people don't know. Even people online close to her that are talking to her may be told a couple things, but Pikamee herself probably isn't going to share everything with everyone. And I think people should respect her decision, despite the fact that it might embolden people, etc., etc. The fact of the matter is we just don't know enough about her life, and it's really not our business, and people should respect her choice. Now, again, let me disclaim, I'm not trying to implicate Asmongold in anything I just said. I just played that clip because, you know, Asmongold's an interesting dude. People like hearing him. He makes interesting points. I saw that video. I want to talk about it. But everything I just said is not like a direct response to Asmon. That was just kind of the prelude to the topic, right? I'm speaking in generalizations this whole time. Next clip, we got the one and only Kson.
VTubing. VTubing is not it doesn't matter your skin color, your race, your sex, your anything. Nothing matters in the VTubing world, okay? Nothing. It's a different world. Apart from where human beings live, okay? It does not matter in our world, okay? Why do people still don't understand that? That's why we VTube in the first place, okay? We didn't want to be discriminated in an unfair situation. まあ VTuber っていうのがそうたくさん増えてたくさんの人がやるようになったことはいいことなんだけども、相も変わらず起きてはいけないことは起きている。
Always nice to hear from her, and especially, you know, what she's had to deal with before, to not get into further detail about that. But due to her experience with such matters, it is particularly interesting to hear her response on all that. Anyways, I think I may have shared too much opinion in this video already. I don't know how much people really care about, you know, what I have to say about this stuff sometimes. So let's just move on to the next clip.
I think I got a headache because I was crying today. So yeah, I always get a headache after that. I did know in advance about this, but because she did message me a while ago before she went on her break, and she said, she was like, I wanted to tell you beforehand. So, you know, I felt I don't know, grateful, I guess, that she considered me in telling about it. So I know I'm not being very professional right now. I just, you know, gone through this so many times, but I just go have a fun month with her. until the end.
It's a rough clip to see, man. Everyone is hurting from this, except the harassers, of course. But especially I feel bad for the Pikamee viewers, the Pikamee fans, the people that are close to her. It's especially difficult news for all of them. So yeah, I feel bad for you guys. As I mentioned, I'm not as familiar with Pikamee as a lot of you, but I don't need to be super familiar with her to see that she's an innocent, wholesome person who enjoyed making content and making people happy, and she absolutely didn't deserve any of this. That clip was actually posted to Reddit, and the OP who posted it said that they decided to spread that clip because something needs to be said, I guess, saying that it seems Pikamee planned to quit VOMs even before the Hogwarts incident from what Pomu said. They also say that they're sad Pikamee is graduating and angry that the Twitter mob bullied Pikamee on February 2023 on her return stream, but that turning into a trans hate mob needs to stop. Some other people would also talk about that here as well, including this statement saying that the hate mob shouldn't be towards the trans community. It should have been for the supposed allies that were harassing her. So I think I've done a great job in talking about how a lot of the people that are harassing people are alleged allies that are really just using trans people as a tool. I've brought that point up in numerous videos. And as mentioned, I think I've done a pretty good job talking about that. I also just don't like seeing people lie though, or perhaps inadvertently post misinformation. And the fact of the matter is, as I've said in numerous segments, a lot of trans people are cool and chill and totally fine with people playing Hogwarts Legacy and or even playing it themselves, or at the very least, while they have an issue with it, they are not harassing people and don't condone that stuff at all. And some of them have even called it out. It is still a complete mistruth to say that there were no trans people involved in harassing her. The fact of the matter is there were, and I even showed evidence of some yesterday, including some who took it so far as to accuse her of being a pedo. So I don't think people should spread that rhetoric either. It's not helpful and it's a lie. Fact of the matter is there were plenty of non-trans people harassing people, and there were also trans people harassing people too. To say otherwise would be ignoring reality. And finally, more and more people are trying to spread this rhetoric that the harassment campaign had nothing to do with her graduation. Well, the fact of the matter is, I suppose we don't know for sure 100% what all the details are, and that also means whatever details become public likely also isn't 100% of the information. The only one who knows 100% of the information is Pikamee, and she likely isn't going to share all of that with everyone, nor is it her duty to. What this means, though, is we have to make reasonable conclusions with the information that we have available. And the information that we have available is that she's going to be graduating at the end of March. We know for a fact she had planned on streaming Hogwarts Legacy, and she didn't because of the bullying. So even if the bullying hypothetically didn't have anything to do with the actual graduation date, it absolutely negatively impacted her content, her streams, her community, her viewers, all that stuff leading up to it. There's also an argument to be made that if she did, let's say for argument's sake, that those claims are true and that she planned on graduating in advance, well, that arguably makes her stopping streaming because of the harassment campaign, which initially happened with Hogwarts Legacy, potentially makes that all worse. Because what it's suggesting then is saying that Pikamee already knew she was graduating at the end of March and therefore already knew she only has an extremely limited amount of time left with her community to be with them. And the harassment campaign was so bad that she still decided, you know what, I'm just going to get off the internet. Ultimately, this situation could have actually brought people together. We could have seen by far the largest group of people, which would include trans people and non-trans people, and that group would be the ones that are full of kindness and compassion and care about others and don't like the harassers and all that. And the other side, of course, is like the harassers and the toxic people. While both sides have people who are trans and not trans, the majority are going to be kind and compassionate towards others. And that should have been the divide here. The kind people against the toxic people. Unfortunately, a lot of these trans activists and a lot of these allies, people that allegedly care about trans rights and stuff, they keep trying to frame all the trans people as the harasser side and then say then they try to defend the harasser side and water down what happened on their side and whatnot, which is obviously going to make things worse. It's misrepresentation. Sometimes it's even just overt lies. And that's just going to cause both sides to further find extreme angles as opposed to bringing people together and actually all uniting and calling out the extremism, the toxicity, and the hate. On a final note about Asmongold, I got to circle back to that because I forgot to bring something up. I think he also made a longer take on Pikamee. It's like a 30-minute video, which came out this morning. I think the brief clip I played came out last night originally. So if you want to see more of his full take, please feel free to take a look for that video. Like I said, it's around 30 minutes long. You should be able to find it pretty easy. On a final note, I'd like to address something that another YouTuber actually said in his video talking about Pikamee. This is a pretty well-known dude in the VTuber community. And in his video, he actually said that he's not monetizing his video talking about Pikamee. He feels like it's the wrong thing to do, that it's like basically capitalizing off of her. Now, I don't have an issue with this person at all. Seems like a nice, cool dude. I got no beef with dude. And he was not directly calling me out or anything like that. I don't think he made that comment about me at all. It was just about him and his video. That said, because there's probably some level of overlap between the people that watch his video and mine on Pikamee, let me address this real quick. I absolutely do care about Pikamee and the viewers and those close to her, and I feel bad about everything that's going on in the situation. Again, it's a situation that absolutely does suck. However, I also care about other people in my life as well, and those people need my help financially, and I'm not about to screw them over. The fact of the matter is, I'll make my segments talking about Pikamee and what's happened to her and doing what I can to support her. And I'm also going to do what I can to support the other people in my real life that need my help. So I'll leave it there. Again, no issue with that dude. He's welcome to do whatever he wants. I just wanted to address that very briefly at the end of my video for anyone who may feel a certain sort of way about me monetizing my videos. Well, there you go. Ultimately, thank you again for tuning in. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff in the comments. As always, appreciate your time. I'll see you there and in the next segment.